What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Jess. How are you? It's been forever since I've been able to talk to you guys directly. This year has been busy. Man, this has been the busiest year probably of my life. Quick life update for those of you who care. That class I alluded to taking this summer is done. Yay. I barely made it out, but I made it. So the class is done, but I'm not necessarily done with the class. I didn't complete everything I needed to complete. And even though I finished the class with enough assignments completed to, get the credits or whatever, I'm kind of a perfectionist and I don't like leaving things undone. So I'm still working to finish the projects I didn't get done. Plus, these boot camps are so fast-paced and intense. I don't really, I was going to say I don't do well in that environment, but it's clear that I do because this is the fourth one I've taken. But when the subject is so huge, like 3D animation and modeling, I just need more time. So even if I did finish at 100%, I was still gonna, take my time and redo stuff and continue my own learning because the subject is deep and, I just need more practice. So I'm still going to be working on things behind the scenes. But as far as me and the stories and everything, I'm back. I'm back, baby. Okay, so this podcast that I'm doing right now isn't really necessary because we already did an end of the generation recap when we started Luca's generation. We talked about Emmy and all her drama and all that stuff. So I really don't need to do this, but I've had some thoughts for the last couple of weeks. And seeing as we're, looking back over Emmy's life because she just passed, I figured this will be a good time to do like a special episode and talk about the thoughts that I've had for a while. So all of us, me included, we've all had the same question for the last few months. And that question is, why didn't Emmy marry Dwayne? You guys have been asking it. I've been wondering it myself. Now, okay, true. I'm writing the story, so I technically should know. But this is an ISBI challenge. So that means I can only control one sim per generation. And we're in generation 3 right now, so that's Luca. He's the only sim I can control. So I haven't really been in Emmy's head in a while. I can only, see her and know her through what Luca experiences. So I don't have that vantage point. But I do have some ideas because every now and then I go back and I read old chapters. Sometimes it's because maybe I missed them, like I was missing Amina and her sass. So a few weeks ago, I started reading her generation. And then because it was so short, I just kept reading and I read on into Emmy's generation. And I read up until she cheated with Dwayne. Yeah, that was where I left off. Just reading how she started and where she ended up and her thought process. And also, another reason why I might go back and read old stuff is because I need to remember it or reference it, for a chapter I'm reading, and I just want to make sure I get the facts right. So even though I stopped when she cheated, there were other chapters that I've read recently past that. And from reading those, I have a pretty strong hypothesis as to why she never married Dwayne. Now, okay, if you want to get technical, she didn't marry Dwayne because MC Command Center didn't hook them up. But, we're not reading the story to know how things are working behind the scenes. We're reading this story like it's a movie and we want to know their motivations and their feelings and all that stuff. So this is why I think she never married Dwayne. I have 2 points with a bunch of subpoints. So the first reason I think she didn't accept Dwayne's proposal, well, honestly, I don't think she rejected the proposal. I think she was just very hesitant about it and never actually answered him. I don't think she would ever turn him down. I just think that she would just leave him in limbo until he probably confronted her about it. At least I imagine that's what happened when she alluded to them having problems and then she started showing up by herself all the time. Anyway, my first point is I actually don't think Emmy ever intended to marry Dwayne. Like earlier today, I was reading the chapters where she and the kids had just moved to Newcrest and she and Dwayne had just started dating. And she never really talked about marrying him. She's talked about possibly moving in with him, but she actually shot that idea down very quickly because she was concerned about how Dwayne is. And we know Dwayne has OCD and he can't stop cleaning and he likes to have a neat environment. And she said something about, if I move in with Dwayne and I do everything I can to, keep the house clean and don't make messes and, make it so that he's comfortable, wouldn't that be the same thing as me trying to be a vegetarian to support Allie when I was married to him? She said that she has a habit of changing her entire life to make sure the people in it are comfortable, and she doesn't want to do that anymore. So that left her unsure about whether she could actually live with Dwayne or not. Yeah, she's considered living with him a few and when I say consider, I don't mean seriously consider, the thought crossed her mind. The thought about living together crossed her mind a few times. But if you think about it, she never, ever, ever talked about getting engaged or being married to him or whatever. If I'm wrong, let me know, because a lot of times you guys remember things I don't. But to my knowledge, I don't recall her ever saying that she wants to marry him or she thinks about getting married. She's just always just happy with how things are. As a matter of fact, when they first started dating, that first time that they slept together, right before that, they were having dinner, and she said that, whenever she's dating someone or, she's in with someone, she spends all her time thinking about the future. When she was dating Allie, all she could think about was, her brown-skinned, blue-eyed babies that she didn't have yet. And even when she was trying to be with Devontae, she was thinking about, what's next? We slept together, what's next? And even with Laurent to a certain extent. But she didn't want to do that anymore with Dwayne. She was like, you know what? I'm different now. I've grown a little and things are different. I've already had the life I wanted. There's no need to continue chasing something. I'm just going to live in the moment and make a point to stay present. And that's the thing that I think was preventing her from accepting Dwayne's proposal, because she was just always trying to stay in the moment. She didn't even think about the future. And probably after a certain point, after they got old, she just didn't even think that was something she needed to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first part of my hypothesis. The second part is, I think to a certain extent, she had a little bit of buyer's remorse. She went to the other side of the fence and the grass was not greener. I don't know that for sure, but here's a few reasons why I think that actually might be true. Remember in my original End of the Generation reflections, remember I was saying that Dwayne was good for her for the moment? Dwayne was meant to be in game, but he wasn't meant to be her partner for life, because she and Dwayne wouldn't have worked as a young couple. That would have been a disaster. But for them as middle-aged adults at that time, they were perfect for each other. And one thing I said, the reason for that is because Dwayne is the same as her, because what she needs is someone that understands her situation and supports her decisions and encourages her, because she often still feels bad about it. She needs someone who is content with what is, someone who isn't going to pressure her to get married or think about more kids or something. Now, she needed someone who was on her level. And Dwayne is definitely on her level, but as an older adult, I think that eventually became more not a turnoff, but more a realization that maybe this isn't the best situation for me. Because she always acknowledged, when she was still married, she always acknowledged how much Ali made her grow, stretched her, he challenged her. She always wanted to be a better person around him. And, he was just a good fit for her. Now, I don't know if she was a good fit for him, but he was really good for her. I think he balanced her out, that childish, selfish side she had. It never went away, but I think it was lessened around him. And opposites attract in that way because you need opposites. You don't need two of the same thing. And so after being with Dwayne for a few years, I think maybe she started to see that. Maybe she saw that she wasn't growing anymore. And Dwayne was more of a kind of like a yes man, you know what I'm saying? Dwayne is very passive. And for someone as selfish and kind of self-centered as her, that's you don't need to be with a passive person because that's like high key enabling that behavior, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not saying that Dwayne never challenged her because I'm sure he had his own ways that he did that, but on the grand scale, he's just too chill and probably just let stuff slide. He probably knew she was still in love with Ali and just never said anything, never challenged her, never confronted her and challenged her to figure out herself and make a real choice, because even though she chose to be with Dwayne, she was still straddling the fence, she was still crushing and fangirling over Ali, and she was still involved in his life, But yeah, he never did that. And they were in a very long, they as in Emmy and Dwayne, I think they had a very long honeymoon period because she was very happy with him for a long time. I don't think this dissatisfaction or disappointment or just whatever, I don't think that happened until like after her elder birthday because he didn't ask her until they became elders. And so I think she was very, very happy with Dwayne for a long time. She was satisfied with their life. Things were great until maybe the proposal was what catapulted her into thinking about all this. Because like I said, they did have a very long honeymoon period. Or maybe the honeymoon period wasn't as long as I thought it was. Maybe even before her birthday, she was thinking about this stuff, but she just didn't say anything because she didn't need to. She probably never thought that Dwayne would propose. Another thing, I actually just thought about this. Another reason, let's make this another subheading to Emmy never intending to marry Dwayne. Emmy has always said she never stopped loving Ali, and I think that's true. Though I think what she considers to be love maybe needs a bit work. Maybe she realized her love for Dwayne wasn't as strong as she thought it was. Like, maybe she started doing all this comparison and realizing the grass isn't green on the other side. And she realized that, yes, I love Dwayne, but maybe I don't love him like I think I do. Maybe I love him and he's great to fill voids in my life, but to marry him and take his name and live with him and mix our finances together and be known as Mrs. Pancakes, like, is my love strong enough for that? I think the answer was no. And she knew it, but she couldn't bring herself to tell him or anyone because she never explained to Luca why she didn't marry Dwayne. She told him something about her being conflicted about Ali. And of course that made Luca mad because he's like, girl, please choose. It's been forever. We're all past it. Pick a side. Jeez. But yeah, those are my thoughts that I've had for a little while. And let me know what you think about it. Why do you think Emmy never married Dwayne? Let's have a little conversation about it and, see whose idea holds the most water. But anyway, thanks for listening. Have a good week. I hope you're enjoying your day and stay well. Bye.